What is dripping in black? Intentional networking is dripping in black. Paula, talk shit with me.
Welcome to the Dripping in Black podcast, where we celebrate Black excellence within the Black diaspora. Our special guest host is award-winning podcaster Dominic Lawson, Director of Podcasts at Owls Education Company.
What's up, good people all across the world? This is the Dripping in Black podcast. I'm your guest host, Dominic Lawson, multi-award winning podcaster, and I'm serving as Director of Podcasts for Owls Education Company. Just want to thank the man behind the glass, S Squared, for this amazing opportunity. As always, we rock with you, S Squared. We love you, man. Now, before I continue, again, you see the fit. Come on, you see it. Dripping in Black. Paula got one as well. So if you want to get some of that drip and be swagged out like us, go to www.dibkdripshop.com to get all of this merch to support your favorite show, the Dripping in Black podcast. Again, that's www.dibkdripshop.com. Now let's get to the task at hand. She is a powerhouse project manager and founder and visionary behind Rap Shit with P, a consulting firm specializing in branding, merchandise, gifting, and VA services. She also is the unapologetic, unfiltered voice behind the podcast Talk Shit with P. She is, believe it or not, a Guinness World Record holder. We'll get into that a little bit. Podfest's Glenn the Geek Herbert Community Hero Award recipient, Female Entrepreneur Magazine cover star, and the first-time author featured in the #1 international best-selling book, Voice Your Vibe. She's known as the networking godfather and rebel with the cause. She is the bold, the brilliant, the unapologetic Paula Sima. Paula P. Sis, how's it going?
Oh my God. I feel like you should read my bio all the time. Like to hear it like that, I'm like, damn, I actually did all this shit. Like,
you do dope shit, Paula.
It's amazing hearing it. Like, I need you to introduce me all the time. Like, damn it.
Say
I am
less.
doing good. Thank you for having me. And it's nice to be back, like reverse, because you have been on my show. Like most of the time I've interviewed you, so it's an honor to be here, interviewed by the one and only Dominic Lawson on Dripping in Black.
That.
We are Dripping in Black.
I know, right? Now, Dripping in Black family, listen, I'm gonna try to be on my best behavior because this isn't just an ordinary guest. This is my sister here. This is sis right here. This is family right here. So we're gonna try to keep it cordial. We're gonna try to keep it professional, but we probably gonna have a little fun with this. So you do with that what you will. So, Paula, for the people who don't know you, I kind of gave them a little brief introduction, but when people meet Paula, they are just basically you're just infectious with your energy and your love and everything else in between. Just kind of talk about when people meet Paula, what are they getting? Like, what are they getting in Paula P?
Oh my God. Do you remember one time Yvonne was like, I need a Paula pill and I should probably create a pill, or maybe your weed company sponsor me. Let's get a peace train or something. But they get love. I feel like they get a safe love because people end up just being open with me and talking things we never probably would talk randomly. But I bring that energy where people just feel safe to talk shit with me, and I like it. And maybe also it goes once they find out my name of my podcast, which adds more to it. But I genuinely, I'm an energy reader. Like, I read energy and I just go where it goes and it follows and it spreads. I feel like I'm an energy spreader. I don't know, but yeah, they get safe love. And it's funny because this season 10, I've been asking people to share the impression of me when they met me versus now they meet me, and just hearing how I haven't changed much from their impression of me from when they met me to now, but it's just like, it has just gone deeper once knowing you. But like, you are just a ball of energy. People call me a ball of energy. And it's funny, these days I don't have much energy, but I try to. Whenever I show up with great energy. Now the environment might determine how the energy goes, but I come with, if I'm showing up with the energy to just take it all in and give as much as I can.
No, I appreciate that. I remember the first time we engaged with one another in person, right? I'm just walking through a hotel, the Afros and audio.
From the bar across.
From the bar. I'm just walking with S squared and crate and stuff like that, and all I hear is Dominic. I'm like, what the hell? Who is that?
I
No,
am
that's
loud.
Paula.
I am
That is
loud, yeah.
Paula.
I am
That is
loud.
Paula. But with that being said, though, let's. I hate to go here this early, but it's important because I'm the mental health guy, so I have to ask the question. To give so much, right? To give so much, how does Paula get poured back into, right? Because sometimes people who are the ball of energy, the life of the party, and stuff like that, sometimes that can be draining. That can be draining, right? So, who pours into Paula, or how does Paula pour back into herself, or maybe it's both. I don't know. Kind of walk me through that a little bit.
So it is true, and I get exhausted. And for the longest time, like, this is without just being in the podcasting community. Like, even my dad will
Yeah,
tell you from when I was a kid. I
yeah,
loved giving. Like, my mom used to hate me so much because sometimes she'll be like, "I'm coming home ready to drink my wine," and Paul, I already gave it out. Like, I give, I give, I give, and I
right,
learned from the earlier age and time that it's okay to give, but also be mindful. You know, like, the people we are giving, are they always just taking, or are they giving back to you? So that's why I don't even concentrate so much on where, like, if I'm showing up and I'm not getting the same love, I'm gonna stop showing up. That's why I stopped
feel that.
complaining about people not supporting me. I'm like, instead of complaining like, oh my God, my own people are not supporting me or whatever, I go where I'm supported. So that way it feels I'm getting back as much in different forms. And that's why I surround myself, or I give more to where I'm getting back, including like the IHOP Breakfast Club. Like, y'all pour so much into me. The Moped Boys, people don't understand why I fuck with them a lot, but they pour so much into me, just not professionally, but personally. Like,
Right,
Dripping in Black, after we went for the retreat, we've all kind of grown deeper because of that retreat. So we have formed even more deeper relationships. So even create Ty, like, I check in them every now, they check on me, the girls, D, and for people who I just met this year, but they pour as much on me, we do accountability call. So I concentrate, like, I watch where I'm getting feedback as well, like MacDill, Podfest, all these people. So if they're giving back to me, I will continue giving back. If they're not, I will eventually stop and find new people. And we know, like, and that's why I tell people sometimes I stop showing up in other communities because I'm not getting the same love I'm giving out.
right.
So it's okay to outgrow that. It's okay. Junaid once told me, I interviewed Junaid at Podcast Movement, and it was like, with everything in life, you graduate, right? You graduate kindergarten to go to,
Correct.
and then you graduate to go to college, then you graduate to go to life, or you graduate from single to being married, or married to divorce. Like, all this, at certain point, it has to last. So I graduate from spaces that doesn't give back. I take what I got from them and keep it moving. So I
Right.
really learn to lean in more on people who take as much as I give, but also give back in whatever form they can give back.
100%. No, I'm definitely on board with that. I'm all about taking out of the pot, but also putting back in the pot. You know what I mean? And you're so right about that graduating piece. There's no hard feelings. There's no ill will or anything like that. I wish you the best, but it's just one of those things where years change, seasons change,
Mhm.
moods change, directions change, values change, right? And that's just all a part of growth, right? I mean, we're not around all the people we were in high school for the most part. Many of
Exactly.
us, because sometimes you graduate, you change, you grow, stuff like that. So I appreciate you saying that. I also appreciate you sharing about the retreat that we do, and I'll be make sure that I also mention the elevation labs that we do as well here at the Dripping in Black
December 6th, the next
Foundation.
one.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Dripping in Black elevation labs that we'll be doing here, and make sure you check in with us every quarter because we'll be doing those from time to time every quarter, leading up to the next retreat up there in Detroit as well. So I wanted to make sure I said that and got that in there, giving S Squared a little bit more work to do. Um,
And also, to
but
add real
you
quick on the
yeah, go
graduation
for it.
part, right?
Yeah,
I used to tell this. I had, again, growing up, I used to love being around people and surrounding myself. So I've collected friendships, and being the fact that I've moved countries so much, so I have friends all
right,
over.
right.
But these days, I barely talk to them, and I tell people like, it's okay. Like, there's no beef. We are not fighting. We're whatever. We have just outgrown. Our time has come to an end. Like, we are cordial. We love each other, but we don't have to be besties. We don't have to, and that's perfectly fine. And I also tell people, if I'm a toxic person in your life, by all means, if you need to remove me, you need to stop following me. You need do what's best for you and your mental health. Because again, we are both of us mental health advocates. And I tell people,
Right.
I unfollow people all the time on social media because my social media, especially right now with what is going on over the world, I feel like,
Yeah.
yes, there is freedom of speech, but I'm starting to unlike people who I don't want to unlike because of the shit that's coming out of their mouth with everything that's going on. Like, it's okay to think them, but also be mindful of how you're sharing them and how it's coming out online. And that's why
Right.
also I left Facebook, because I was getting very, very different person. I was like, I don't like this version of me on Facebook. So I had to
Right.
take that out. And I have unfollowed, I've befriended so many people. I'm like, I don't want to see this on my timeline. It's not good for my mental health. My mental health comes first. So if you're not good for me, baby, I'm taking you out of the equation. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. I've done
That's what
that
it
to
is.
family. My uncle, my aunt, like, I don't care. But you're not good for my mental health. You gotta go. So do that with what you will, as Dominic says.
I do say that a lot, don't I?
I told you we should have a T-shirt by now. Like, that's a tagline.
Fair enough.
And
Fair enough.
I'll be wearing it at spaces that I said what I say, do with it what you will. Okay?
Right. There it is. There it is. You know, earlier you talked about your dad and moving around a lot and stuff like that, and that kind of leads me to the next question, which is I'm curious about where that fearlessness, that unapologetic approach comes from. I know you have talked greatly about your dad and how much he has inspired you and taught you things and stuff of that nature. I want to know origin story, Paula, a little bit, just from the standpoint of uh, where you grew up, traveling around and stuff like that, but also where that confidence and that unapologetic nature comes from.
Oh wow. So my dad is my best friend, is everything to
Yeah.
me. Like, God bless that man. And I hope he gets to bury me, not the other way around, because God damn it. But I'm a government kid, so in Tanzania, one thing about being a government kid is you get blessed with a lot more resources. As people say,
Mhm.
money gets stolen from the government. I do not want to say my parents did that, but I know half of my life was funded by my government. No offense, but and that's why I tell people, like, I know I was a privileged child. Like, I'm not gonna lie about that. I was a privileged child. I was a spoiled child. And maybe that's why sometimes I still act bratty, but hey, it is what it is. And I'm okay with that. And that's why I
Mhm.
love even seeing Black parents spoil and give privilege to their kids. Like, God, the world is already tough enough. So if you can do that, kudos for you, right? So being a government child, I went to great schools. My dad also was big on education. He's gonna make sure he sends you to great school, expensive schools. And if you pay attention in school, you pass, you do your whatever, he will give you whatever you want. And the traveling, the all those amazing stuff. But when after I finished primary school, I was sent to boarding school. My dad didn't like it, but my dad was very busy, traveled a lot. And my mom was also going to school. So us being home was, so I got sent to boarding school. So I feel like that's when my resilience started, because when you're in boarding school, you don't get to come home every day and cry to your
Right.
dad or whatever. You gotta be strong. You gotta figure shit out. You gotta make it happen. You only go home every 3 4
Right.
months. And for a person who was a tomboy and liked hanging out with guys more than girls, they sent me to
Okay.
a girls' school, a girls' boarding school. I did not last. Like, I made it until one semester. I cried to my dad. My dad was this close to take me out of the school in the middle, but my mom was like, she needs to learn. Let her do the one semester, then we'll transfer. So eventually they transferred me to a mixed school. And then I ended up having cousins there, whatever. So it was a little bit easier. But I think,
Okay.
and that's why I'll always tell people, like, boarding school is really amazing. Like, it helps you learn and think for yourself, think in your own toes and navigate life, because you gotta do your own laundry. You gotta make sure you are up and in class. You gotta make sure you're at lunch at the right time. Otherwise, you miss the food. You don't eat, like all those things. Like,
Right.
so it started from there, and then my mom went to UK to study ACCA. She was in accounting. So my dad got to keep me home for one semester because I moved from Uganda where I was in my boarding school. So I was in Uganda for like 2 years, I believe. And then I moved back home and I did one semester in Dar, which is Dar es Salaam, where our city is. And then, but I was still in boarding school where in weekends I go home because it was only me and my dad then. So that's when even I figured out life even more, being in boarding school back in Tanzania with my dad, but my dad not being around. Then from there, my dad was like, this doesn't work. Uh, you guys have to go to UK and be with your mom. That way you can get stability and stuff. So we moved to UK. I hated everything about UK apart from fish and chips. I feel like my depression started in UK, but I didn't know because how winter is really dark and I used to not love living outside. I mean, I love Christmas time in London, the lights, the decoration, but also it sucked my entire life. And eventually I had to tell my dad I can no longer, I took a year gap first. So shout out to my dad being a Black father, allowing me to take a year gap because that's not a normal thing. But it was like, I'd rather you take a year gap and figure out what you want to do than me waste money in school that you're just going to fail or whatever because we're wasting money. So I was in law school. I took a year gap. I realized I wanted to do hospitality and events. And then I wanted to leave UK. So I moved to Malaysia. So this was the first time ever that I traveled by myself. Because when I went to UK, I was with my brother and my sister and my dad. My dad took us. My mom was already there. Anytime we traveled, it was with my mom and my brother. We used to travel a lot for Christmas and holidays. Thank you, Tanzanian government. So I started traveling in a young age, but never. One time I did travel alone, KLM, they had a nice thing with kids where you get transferred and it was fun. But then leaving UK where I was packing my bags and going home, I hadn't been home for 5 years. And my dad, knowing me, it was like, you're arriving on Saturday, next Saturday you're leaving. Like some of my friends didn't even know I was in Tanzania until I left because I only had 1 week and you have to see all these relatives and you have to see all these things and you've been gone for 5 years. So you can't mix everything. I was like, with the way you drink and have fun, I'm trying to make sure that you are only seeing the important people you need to see, and we are out of here because then I also had to figure out my visas and all that. So during the day, sometimes I'm also rushing embassies and everything. So I was on for a week. I traveled alone, and but then my dad went with me to Malaysia, and my dad being my dad, right? He booked himself first class and he put me in economy. Well, I was put in business class for one flight and the other flight only had business and economy and he put me in economy and I was so hungover. I was like, damn, dad. It was like, the flight was fully booked. I'm like, yeah, sure. Okay, whatever. But I'm going to suffer. And he would walk from first class to come and check on me. How are you doing? I'm like, shut the fuck up. Leave me alone. But we went to Malaysia. He helped me settle in he stayed with me for 1 week and then he left. And I think that's when it hit, like, I'm finally in a place by myself because every time I've traveled, I've had friends or family. So this was the first time I was, oh my God, I'm in a new country. There's no dad, there's no mom, there's no, and I'm now in college as well. So it's not like boarding school where everybody's on the same place. So this is college, you're living outside, you have the freedom. Nobody's going to bother you if you're waking up to go to class or not. That's on you. Like, unlike boarding school where you need to be, So, everything started from there. And Malaysia being Asia, where they have Malay, a different language, and then they have different currency, and then and I had to figure it all by myself. But I loved it. I think all that excitement about figuring it out and being in a new city and people being weird, like, oh, you're Black, what is Africa? Like, and I'm like, Africa is not a continent. It's not a country, it's a continent. Like all those things. And then from there, it just started where we would have, instead of going home, I would always jump into trips. If there are trips, I'm like, why go home? I already know my country. Like, if I can have access to go to a different country and travel with my friends, and God bless my dad. My dad always used to say it was more expensive having me in Tanzania than out there. So he'd rather find money and send me anywhere than have me in the country. It's like, when I have you in the country, you're too expensive. And I am, because again, it's daddy this. But when I'm
Right.
outside, it gives me a budget, and you gotta stick with the budget and figure it out. But when you're home, I'm like, there's no fucking budget. Like, you're my dad, I'm home. You gotta do it. Again, the spoiled mentality. So
Fair
so
enough.
then I started, and even doing so when I went to school in Malaysia, I studied hospitality. And what I liked about my college, you get dual certificates. So if you are under hospitality and events, you have to go to France and do a semester. If you are under law, they had partnership with UK law school, so they went to UK. If you're under business, they had a partnership with an Australian, but you pay the Malaysian currency instead of the currency there, which Malaysia
Right.
has the most. Like, literally, we were paying $500 a month for a 3-bedroom, a big ass flat with a biggest kitchen and sitting room and 3 bedrooms, all have showers and, like, so it was affordable and very cheap. So
I got you.
and studying hospitality, we did 1 semester in class, and then 1 semester was supposed to be internship, so you can get hands-on experience on what you're studying. So my internship,
No, go ahead real quick.
yeah. So my internships, I would travel everywhere. My dad would be like, if I wanted to go to Dubai, they were offering me a job even though they were not paying me. My dad was like, it's Dubai. You're putting it in your resume. You went and worked in
Pretty
Dubai. I
much.
will
Yeah.
fucking pay for the rent and the food for you. So I got those opportunities because of my school as well. And my dad being willing to be like, yo, that's a good opportunity. Go ahead and do that. So hence why I got to be in Toulouse, in Dubai, and do all the stuff. It was part of the college and my dad.
And that's, I want to ask you this really quick follow-up before we move on to something else, because I think here in America, in the States, we're in such a bubble, right? And we think America is the world. Talk about, really briefly, talk about the importance of having a global perspective on things, and how traveling to different places is not just important from the standpoint of stamping a passport, but important for opening your perspective on different cultures, different languages, different value systems, different ways people move. Because I think here in the United States, we think that, like, oh, we're the whatever, right? And we don't take into account other people's religions and cultures and stuff like that. And just talk about traveling abroad and how important that is just for human development, if you would.
Oh,
Real
yeah.
brief.
And that's one thing also my dad wanted. Was like,
Yeah.
if we had stayed so much in Tanzania, our minds would have also, we would have that African mentality, which that's a whole other conversation. And that's why I
Gotcha.
tell people I'm not the typical African. I wasn't raised the typical African way, which I'm grateful. My
Mhm.
dad wanted me to see the world. One, to him, it was more like, I don't want any man to come and tell you, I'll show you the world, and they treat you badly and you stay with them because they're showing you the world. So I'm going to show you the world. You can get an idea of how the world is, how different people are living, so you can find the life that you want for yourself and create it, because it's possible. And that's also one of the other things where I really hate Americans. I'm like, you do know there's more than Hawaii and Puerto Rico. Like, I feel like all they just go to the islands and shit. And for people who have a passport, that you don't even need visas for most countries, because I have to go through visa issues, visa processing, make sure they give me a visa to go to another country. You all have one of the most efficient passports in the world, and some of them, they've never left the fucking country, and it
Right.
pisses me off so much. And that's why I also understand why they're thinking it's the way it is, because going to different countries, you get to see how people live. And maybe that's why I also can connect with anybody, whether old or young, whether Muslim or Christian, because I've been around all that. I've
Right.
seen, I've tried different foods, I've had people's stories, I've seen how the other side moves, because the TV is also live. They only show what they want to show. There's more to those countries than what you're seeing on TV. And also, that's why I emphasize on people when you go to different countries, stop just hanging out in the hotels or eating the hotel food. Go to the streets, really eat the street food, really talk to the street people, like get to know the culture. And it really helps with your mind and your thinking.
Right.
And it also shows, even if you don't believe you're privileged, it shows how much privilege you are. Like even in the
Agreed.
smallest way, wherever you come. And just it really just changes your mind and your perspective and your way of thinking. I believe, and that's why I tell people, if you can travel, travel and travel it in a proper way. Don't just hang around at the good places. It's fine. Like you can have 2-3 days in good places. I love good places. Like, but also really go and see those places that are there. Like
Right.
if I could travel for the rest of my life, like if I could have a job where I just travel, and maybe that's why now I like Oracle, because even right now, with Oracle, they send me to cities that I don't even know or exist. And I'm like, damn, this is like a small town. And I used to think I wanted to live in a small town until they took me to a small town where everything closes at 9 o'clock. I was like, no, no, this ain't,
Yeah,
this ain't
probably not
it.
for you. Yeah. 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 You're
But
gonna
it does, yeah, it does. It does change your perspective and stimulates the mind.
right.
Traveling and seeing other cultures stimulates the mind.
And I think that's important, right? Especially here in the States, but even no matter where you're coming from, I just know that perspective in the States. I try myself, I try my best myself to be what I like to call a citizen of the world and not just a
Mm-hmm.
citizen of the United States, right? So even
Thank you.
though
Yes.
I'm here in the United States, and even if I don't travel to all those places, physically, right? I know there's, people here in the United States that still have their cultures from, their homeland and stuff like that, and just try to learn from them even here, and just try to get to learn and understand and grow
Mm-hmm.
myself. But thank you for sharing that. I want to switch gears here and talk about your brand. Talk Shit with P, the podcast, the brand, Rap Shit with P, all of that. Just kind of talk about first the anchor word shit, and why that's a big part of the brand, but also just kind of talk about the brand itself, how it's evolved, because it has evolved over the years, and why you created it, why you want to make an impact with it, and all of those things.
So I don't know. I feel like the word shit just sticks with me, and
Fair enough.
probably because I talk so much shit. And half of the time, I tell people like I talk so much shit, but sometimes my shit makes sense, and maybe
Gotcha.
clearly it makes sense for me to be invited here to be interviewed. So thank you, shit. But but so when I was starting the podcast, I was dealing with during COVID, right? COVID, there was so much going on with Black Lives Matter. There was so much going with Asian. Again, I've lived in Asia for 5 years, so I have people I consider friends and family in Asia. So there was that. And then Tanzania, they weren't also taking COVID seriously. So being my dad with how he's sick and being home, me being white. So there was just a lot going on, and I was in a breaking point. Where most of you know I do enjoy my drinks, but I was drinking not to enjoy them. I was drinking to numb it, which I saw myself going on a very black, rotten hole. And
Right.
then I ended up writing a letter to my ex, and I went on Twitter when Twitter was Twitter, and I started talking shit about it because, again, I was drunk, and I started talking shit about it. And somebody was like, you have a lot of shit to say. You should start a podcast. And we're like, what are we going to call it? We're like, Talk Shit with P. People come and talk shit with you, and you figure it out. So we have rebranded. The logo has changed. After 2 years, the logo changed. And shout out to Travis Brown, who told me like, yo, Paula, your podcast, it's you talking to people. People who know you, we see your energy and you bring it on your podcast. I feel like your logo should have your face so people can tell your energy. And that's why we changed the logo. And I loved how people loved it. It works. It's really me with the tongue out and the beer, like the best way. And I wanted to make sure that even though I'm going to these spaces and I'm not code switching. They call it code switching, right? When you're black in certain places, you have to be kind of whitish so that you can be accepted, or even like
Right.
customer service, right? You have your customer service voice and then your normal voice, all of that. I was like, fuck no. It's too exhausting having to be this person and this person. I'm like, if I'm going to start a business or even build this, I want it to be authentically me. Like even one time somebody was like, you know, your name being rap shit with your company, some people might not want to work with you. I'm like, that's fine. They're not the people I want to work with. Because if you're going to have an issue with the company name rap shit with P, then you're probably not the best client for me, clearly.
Right.
So I'm not just going to do it because, I want clients. And that's why I'm also very particular with the people who I want to work with and everything. I mean, yeah, Dominic is my client. I'm just saying, not to floss or anything, but if Dominic can work with me, I'm saying, but everything started from seeing the opportunities that Talkshow with P has gotten. I tell people, I didn't do this for money. Money would be nice, yes, but sometimes we are so engaged on the money, we are forgetting all the opportunities. Like when you read my
Facts.
bio, I was like, damn, look at all that shit I've been able to do. And because I just started a podcast. So yes, am I still rich? No, but I'm walking into the richness, okay? We are walking into the richness. But in between that, I have to remind myself of the stages I've been, of the opportunities I've gotten, the people I've met, the company I'm around, the people who embrace me and the guests I've had on my show, all that matters. And then I kept on getting let go from my job because, again, job opportunities right now just suck. Some companies, as much as they would want to keep you, they can't afford you. Everything is going to shit. I was like, I am tired of constantly. Yes, I love the safety net of having a job, but also it can be taken away anytime and then you're back again to ground zero. And job hunting is exhausting, y'all. Kudos to anybody out there who's job hunting. That's a whole other job in itself. So I was like, from everything that I've learned, why don't just do it? And I remember when I said, I'm going to start project management in rap shit with P. My friends always come to me because I'm a very thoughtful gifter. I do, because again, I'm a thoughtful person. So when I think about gifts, I tell people it's not about the money. It's sometimes just listening to somebody. When I give gifts, people are like, oh my God, how did you know I wanted this? Like, it's not about the money. Sometimes you can go to Dollar Tree and create a whole basket for $15 and somebody will be happy. So it's what you give them, the thoughtfulness behind it. So I was like, and since my friends constantly come to me and ask me, I was like, well, I can make a job out of it. Now people pay me so I can gift your friends. That way you feel like you're that thoughtful person you are that you're not. But, kudos to you, I get, man. But then the VA service came. I was like, I was already working for a VA service. I do already all this shit. Why not start my own? And look at, if I tell you my client list, y'all, I got Dominic, I got Walter, I got many faces, and it's growing. And I just got, somebody just sent me a LinkedIn message to introduce me to somebody who's looking for a VA. I have a meeting with them on Monday. So it's just growing, and I like the security I have in it. I can work anywhere, I can go anywhere because I still work with Oracle every now and then. Literally, I'm going to be in Nashville on Monday. They just send me an assignment. I like that they pay for my travel. I go do some shit I like, but I get to be in different countries and get in different places and get paid for it. And I can work from anywhere, do my clients' work. So I love how Talk Shit with P brought me to Rap Shit with P, and we're just getting bigger and better. And it's all about authentically, like everything with my company, everything with my social media is just me being authentically me. You can work with me or you don't. That's fine, but I am going to show up as me and do what I do.
And I love the word you use, security, because I think a lot of times when we talk about security, we're talking about monetary security, but there's a sense of security in just owning who you are and being authentically you and stuff like that. There's a security in that as well. And I imagine that's very freeing for you also.
Oh my God, it gives me peace of mind because at the end of the day, I'm like, this is mine. Nobody can take it away. People 100%. Can say whatever the fuck they say, but and I realize, stop telling people to start businesses because this shit is not easy. Like, let me tell you something.
Listen. No, it is not.
This shit is not easy, but also having people like the High Hope Breakfast Club, like you, Walter, and Chris, just I can come to you with everything, like even when I'm doubting myself and you're like, man, I feel like you're even charging shit. And I was thinking I was charging a lot than what I had in my head. And then I have people like Gordon on the law side where they're making sure I also do the right paperwork and have it all this way. And it just, that's why I emphasize on people being authentically yourself. And I am all about intentional networking. Because even some people like,
and I want to key in on that part right there, because the thing is, with networking, and you do it so well. I mean, you're the networking godfather. I mean,
Thank you for
is
you.
what it
I mean,
is.
the name came from you technically. I'm just saying,
I
like,
wasn't
my
gonna toot my own horn, but I
no,
got
my
you.
ego, my ego went so big when I watched that, and every I think I watch it every month. Every time I need to remind
Oh,
myself, like Paula,
got
I
you.
keep watching that to refresh. But yes, continue.
Right.
Sorry.
No, no, you're good. But you've always done that so well. For as long as I've known you, you've always done that so well. And that's one of the things when it comes to, you just talked about building a business or starting a business extremely hard, right? That's one of the things that people are afraid to do is the networking piece. Talk about, or not talk about, give us a few pointers, like maybe two or three tops, of like what makes a great networker, and how you're able to leverage that into workable, like monies and opportunities and stuff like that. Cause you do that fantastically well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Hmm.
So the thing is, with moving around so much, I've always had to make friends and create my own families, right?
Fair
Going
enough.
to
Yeah,
different
yeah.
places and
That
whatever.
makes sense.
So yeah, so eventually, and it's funny because I'm technically a shy person, but people don't believe it when I say.
You could have
Like
fooled us.
I can easily walk into a group of people and talk to people, but if you put me on a stage, just people have to look at me like I'm on the spotlight. I kind of get shy, but like disrupting, I'm very good at disrupting. Like I
Got
can
you.
walk up and disrupt. So the first year when I started going to Podfest in 2020, when I started my podcast, Buzzsprout gave me a free ticket. They were doing a virtual one, which was actually VidFest in 2020 towards the end of the year. Then in 2021, because I was in their email list, they sent an email for speakers for the global. They were doing the virtual one. And I was like, let me apply. I'm like, I feel like my name should be in these communities because now I'm starting podcasting. But I wasn't applying wanting a yes. I was applying trying to get myself comfortable with no. I was like, this is a new world I'm entering. I'll be hearing no a lot. So I wanted to get comfortable with it. That way that I don't take it personal. But then I ended up getting a yes. I was like, oh shit, now I actually gotta speak. So because I met all these people virtually, when I went to the first in-person conference in 2020, I think it was 2022. And I met so many people. And then when 2023 was coming again, Podfest, I was like, oh shit, I barely even the people who I met or whatever really connected. So I was like, my word is going to be intentional. I was like, Paula, you can't just keep going to conferences and then just waiting until the next year to meet these people again. There's some people, so go start being intentional with your networking and doing follow-ups and whatever. So that's when in 2023, I went to that mindset, like we're going to be intentional networking. So when I meet people, like I make sure I really, even if it's like 2-3 quick minutes, because again, I was still new. My Podfest business started in 2024. And in
Hmm.
2023, I decided to volunteer. I was like, when I volunteer, I'll get to meet more people than as I am
Right.
attending. So I volunteered. They love me. That's why I went from volunteer to ambassador to mayor to governor now, like because of the intentional networking. And I would meet people and I would really want to know about them. And that's why it takes a while for people to know me because I don't talk about myself as much. I just want to know about you. And then my head just clicks when you tell me certain things. I'm like, oh shit, I just met this person. I feel like you guys will connect because of that. So I started connecting people and it just became something that I love because I tell people, and this is why also I like volunteering and working in events because you get a little bit more access to meet people in different variety. But also when I see people who have connected, either collaborating or just telling me, yo, I had a very great conversation with this person, thanks, that soothes my heart. And the reason why I do intentional networking is because most people want the quick money. Like, what can they do for me right now? They're not playing the wrong game. Like, yo,
Right.
just build that relationship. You never know. Like, look at Mopa. They do amazing stuff. Even though mad at me, we rap shit with people like, Paula, if you're doing corporate, we should be your first clients. I'm like, I'm saving my favors. Don't worry, I'll come to you correct. Because even when I come, even though I know they would never say no, but I don't want it to just be a favor. I want it also, I'm coming properly, like a business, even if you're helping me on a favor, but I came the right way.
And that's something I've always appreciated about you, Paula. We will laugh, kick it, talk shit, all the things, right? But when it comes down to business, you are focused and analytical and thoughtful and stuff like that. I remember, I'll never forget. Hopefully, I'm not spilling too many beans. Like, I remember I did your show. I came on your show, and he said, "Hey, Dominic, I need you to sign this release form." And you hounded me down to make sure I signed that release form. And I didn't take it as whatever. I think I just kept, being busy and just forgot about it and this, that, and the other. Like, damn, let me just do this. It's only gonna take like 2 seconds. But you were very adamant, like, no, we need to get this on wax. And then we got that on wax, and you're like, all right, let's talk shit again, right? So I have always appreciated how you're able to flip that switch from personal to professional to business to friendly and all the things. And I think a lot of times when we talk about, they always say don't do business with friends, but I think you can, but I think you just have to have those boundaries in place when, like, it's time to talk shit and it's time to get work, right? And so I think you've always done that really well.
Even and it's funny because that template, I still use it from Gordon. He has free templates, and I even made my dad sign a fucking release form. I was like, I'm a lawyer's daughter. Like, I don't care. I was like, I know talk to you with is gonna be big, and I don't need you all to come sue me for my coins once I start making them. So we are gonna sign this.
Exactly.
I don't care. Exactly. But even with money, right? Literally when it was like, okay, I'm gonna sign with you, I did. Yes, my damn dad, he signed up. He sure did. My dad, my mom, my bonus mom, they all signed. I have them in a folder. Like, if you have been on talk show with me, you've signed a press release. Like, I don't care who you are. But even Gordon laughs at that a lot. He's like, "Damn, you're really a lawyer's kid." I'm like, I don't play. My brother even made a documentary because my brother is a recovering addict, right?
Right.
So he wanted to share his story. And he made it, and he was showing people's faces and whatever. I'm like, Patrick, make sure you sign press releases because they can come back. If this documentary starts making money or they don't like how they look, they will see. It's like, oh, damn, I didn't think about that. I'm like, you're a lawyer's kid. You should think about that.
Right. And the funny thing is, like, I've seen this in the music industry a lot where people will purposely wait until something blows up. And then at that very moment, they were like, "Hey, I need to run me my coins." Like, so no, I've seen that before.
And we've seen it too many times, even like moms suing their sons just because they don't like how much they get. So I'm like, I'm not playing with that. And even with money, when I signed it, I literally like rapture with it, and I didn't know how to do any of this shit. Shout out to ChatGPT because it has helped me work I have an entire onboarding. I have an invoice. I have he literally was like, damn, Paula, you're serious. I'm like, it's no longer this little business of mine. This is legit. Like, we are going to get paperwork and make sure everything is stated. We have NDA. We have everything, non-compete, like everything set. And I made sure I ran it through Gordon because it's the lawyer. I was like, did I use the right terms? Am I missing anything? Gordon is like, Paula, you don't pay me enough for this shit. I'm like, put it in my tab.
Right.
My tab with Gordon is on, but you gotta always protect yourself, whether it's friends or family. And I'm a person who people have seen me different when I'm at podcast movement and when I'm at Podfest. Podfest doesn't pay me, right? So I can do whatever. And even Chris says, yo, just let Paula be Paula as long as she doesn't get us in trouble. That's why at Podfest, I can start drinking from 8 a.m., 9 a.m. I can get on the stage with a beer. They don't give a fuck as long as Paula is Paula.
Right.
But when I'm at podcast movement, they are paying me. So whether I like it or not, from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock, I'm on the clock. So there won't be no beer. You won't see me with beer. You won't see me acting extra crazy. Like, I'm still Paula, but in a profession. Then as soon as 5 o'clock clocks, baby, the Paula turn up, like, we are in this shit. So I love that I myself have put in those boundaries for myself. Like, we know when to play. We know when to work. Loyalty will tell you, like, Loyalty hangs out with me a lot in Atlanta. When I tell her, yo, today we are just doing content, we are working and doing content. Then, oh, yo, this we're going to be playing, we play and have fun. Like, there's both parts. Like, I don't play about my...
Work hard, play hard. Love to see it.
And that's why I love Moped, because they also do the same shit. I feel like that's why we blend. Like when we're like, oh, it's time to play now, let's play. Because even then, when they come to Podcast Movement, they don't have a booth, but they're having meetings. So during the day, even when I see them talking, like I don't bother them. Then as soon as in the evening, yo, beer time, let's go. We play, and we play extra hard. So.
Yeah. I want to key in on something that you said earlier, and this allows us to kind of shift gears into this part. And Dripping Black family, make sure you check out all of the information we have in the show notes for Paula, and follow her, hire her as a VA, all the things, work with her in those things. Make sure you check those show notes for that. So you mentioned your brother, and you mentioned him in recovery, and he wanted to have a documentary about that. And you have been a fantastic supporter and getting the word out about Mental Health Rewritten, my new project, as well. Just kind of talk about the importance of being an advocate. We hear people who have firsthand accounts of like recovery and stuff like that, and being, and addiction and things of that nature. And we have clinical aspects of people, who are in the field doing the clinical work and the therapy and the stuff like that. Talk about the importance of a role of an advocate, because an advocate is that third pillar, I believe, is very important, if not just as important as those other two, telling their stories in that clinical aspect. Talk about that role of being an advocate for real quick.
So what people don't know is my mom was also an alcoholic, right? She was an alcoholic. She doesn't drink anymore. My dad quit drinking. He wasn't an alcoholic. He just didn't like the person he was when he was drinking. So I come from that family of like, maybe that's why I drink too much. I don't know. But
Gotcha.
My brother got into cocaine, and that's why I fear that drug so much. Like I've seen how much it has damaged my dad, like, my brother. Like the least I do is weed. Like I'm not doing anything else other than that. And even with weed, I'm very careful, because my brother started with that and he became, it stopped doing what it needed to do. He wasn't getting the high he needed, and that's why he moved on to the next drug.
Mm-hmm.
So I never want to be there. That's why I'm very also careful with what I smoke, when I smoke, who I smoke it with. So watching my brother almost overdose 3-4 times, watching what alcohol did to my parents, I knew, but I didn't know what it meant to advocate. And then when I started battling my own depression and learning more into all these feelings I'm feeling, and working on myself, I realized as well, especially being an African, where in Africa we don't talk about mental health. And when I started preaching about it, having all my friends, people come up and tell me, and I found out my cousin almost tried to kill herself, and my family was hiding it. So once I started hearing all these stories and seeing how people are suffering, I realized, even though I'm also battling my own thing, people need people to advocate for these things so that they can feel seen. And I think all we want is that one person to start the conversation. And then you feel seen and you start. And that's why it was important to me. I'm like, people do want to talk about this. People do want to get help. They're just scared because the world made it seem like you can't, or this,
Right.
it shouldn't be talked about. This is taboo. You have to keep it in. And I feel the biggest issue, I tell people, sometimes you give yourself the depression and anxiety because, one, you want to pretend you're something you're not, either in social media or whatever. That brings anxiety, because if I'm showing up as this person on social media and then I go to a place and the people who are following me on social media are there and I'm not what they are, that brings anxiety. Like, damn, now you got to hide, now you got to pretend, now you got to start your, oh my God, you're bring on your white voice because online you're talking like a white person, but you are a hood-ass bitch. Like, make it make sense. So that also brings more anxiety, brings more depression, brings more. And I'm a person these days, I love peace. Like, that's why I don't deal with bullshit. Like, I am quick to cut off or whatever, because I want peace of mind. If you're not bringing peace in my life, you gotta go. And that also comes with cleaning your depression. So advocating for it became a number one thing for me, because of, especially when I found out my cousin tried to kill herself, and the fact that she couldn't even talk to me. And I was like, damn, am I not that good of a person? Like, I started judging myself. Am I creating the space that people feel open to come and share with me? Because why would she go? Which I also understand, because there are times I've thought about ending my life. Like, I get when you're in that side, sometimes you don't even if you know you have people, you don't feel it.
Yeah.
The reason I have never tried it is because I know that shit will kill my dad. Like, because I'm grateful and I'm blessed that I have a dad who will go above and beyond for anything. He might not have money, but he will find it if I need it. Like, all I need to do is just ask and have a conversation with him. He's always willing to hear me out. My dad apologizes when he's in the wrong, which is something most Black fathers don't do, especially African fathers. My dad has conversations, whether it's sex, whether it's alcohol, whether, like, he will have it. So in my head, I was like, if I have this support, why would I do that, right? Because I know if I tell Dad I need to go to rehab, he'll find the money and put me in rehab. Dad, I need this help. I need a therapist. He'll do that. But then I realized some people don't have that. So that's why it was important for me to provide that. And that's why even my podcast, Talk Shit with P, I wanted it to be a safe space for people to just come and share their struggles. And maybe some people who are listening out there, they can be like, yo, I might not have anybody here, but I have Talk Shit with P. That's a safe space. I can go listen. Paula is going to advocate for me. But also what I've learned with now mental health, because we are talking so much about it, I also hate the people who milk it. Like, I don't want you to tell me, oh, I'm like this because of my ADHD. Oh, I'm like this because I'm depressed. Bitch, we are all depressed. And if you know you're depressed, what are you doing about it? Are you getting help? Are you going? But if you're just using that as an excuse for you being a shitty person or doing shitty things, I can roll with that. So that was the part when I was like, I love how 2020 people started, because of COVID, people started talking about mental health. But I also hated how people were excusing bad behavior because of mental health. Like, no.
Yeah.
But I'm always going to be an advocate, first for myself, for my family, and for everybody out there, because me, myself, being in the position where it's so dark, and I know I have amazing people, but sometimes even the thought of calling somebody to cry, but I like also how I hope we have created a place where if you say, you remember that video, like, do you have 12 minutes? If you say that, we know it's really something important. We'll find time. So like, I have cried with you, Dominic. I've cried with Chris. I've cried with Water. So the fact that you guys also keep on creating that space, people just need to allow people to be. And sometimes you don't need, there's not, one thing I've started with my friends also is when they call me or message me, like, I need to talk to you, I'm going through this, I ask them, do you want to vent or do you want advice? Because again, we are also very quick to jump, oh, you should do this. They don't care. Sometimes you don't want to be told what to do. You just want somebody to listen to you vent or cry. So when they tell me, oh, I just want to vent, so they'll jump on the call and I'll just listen. I'll be like, yeah, I get you, whatever. And that just helps somebody just to have a 2-minute, 3-minute conversation with somebody with just crying without being advised. And if they say, I want an advice, I go in the mindset like, okay, so we are going to get to action, because I'm very quick to be like, but you know, you can do this. So I'm trying to be also mindful about.
Right. It's interesting. First of all, thank you for sharing that piece about that ideation that you talked about earlier. Not often people talk about that part. And I would be remiss, as we're recording this, it's Suicide, Prevention Awareness Month. And when you talk about how that would have affected your father, I just recently released an episode of Mental Health Rewritten titled, Rewriting the Conversation About Those Left Behind. And I shared a stat about, like, when somebody dies by suicide, studies have shown that at least 135 people are affected by that, right? And when we were talking earlier about networking and stuff like that and how engaging you are and the people you've touched, like, clearly that would have been well over 135 people. And so I say that to say, I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much.
And that a lot of people definitely would have been affected by that, well over that stat. So I just wanted to say that.
And it's funny you say that, or we talk about that, because recently we lost Todd. Like, I feel like this year we've lost amazing people in the podcasting community. And that's one of the reasons why I'm also very fearful of going to Podfest in January, because no Todd, no Neil. It's just going to be a certain emptiness left. But also it got me thinking, like, when I hear these stories, I'm like, yo, because when I went to Podcast Movement this time and somebody asked me, what was the greatest thing about Podcast Movement this time? They interviewed me and I said, I did not know how much I was valued in this community. Because Jeremy, one of the guys who works with Podcast Movement, when he saw me, introduced me to his wife, his daughter, and his grandson. Oh my God, his grandson wouldn't let me go. That white boy likes some chocolate. I swear, he's gonna bring home a black girl. I'm just saying. Every time he saw me, and he was literally like 6, 7 months old, but he would run to me and just hug me. And he doesn't want his mommy. I'm like, okay, this is my boyfriend. Clearly, I'm about to be a cougar. But Jeremy pulled me to the side and he was like, Paula, you don't know how much your name comes out in our meetings. Like we always like make sure Paula is there. And even when I sat down with Chris, the fact that I was late for VidFest, I wasn't there on Thursday because I was Podcast Movement. When I came on Friday, as soon as Chris saw me, I was like, where were you? You know, there's a void when you're not here. And even people, when they hear right now, Paula is not coming to Podfest in January, they're like, that's the governor of Podfest. What do you mean she's not coming? Like, Paula is going to be there. I'm like, what is Podfest without Paula?
Right.
Lucky, I do want to see what is Podfest without Paula, but lucky also I know I'll get FOMO once I start seeing people going. But even Joe was like, yo, if it's money thing, whatever, let us know. We'll make sure you're there. I'm like, are you going to pay for me? Joe's like, me? Hell fucking no, but my company would. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I get where it's coming from. You're going to tax this shit. Okay, cool.
Right.
But in my head, once I started seeing Todd and after having those conversations, I was like, I really do see that when I die, I feel like I'm going to leave a very big void. And in my head, I'm like, Paula, as much as you think about suicide and life gets tough, but also think about all these people who really do love you, check on you, show up. I mean, Sean himself, he checks on me every now and then, randomly, weirdly. Like Sean texts at the weirdest times and days. Like he remembers me random time. Like the other day, he texted me. He was like, "I'm learning a lot through your podcast, Sean. I've had my podcast since 2020. Are you just starting to listen to it right now? Like, damn it! Like, maybe my sexy voice got into him, and now he went all the way back and started listening. Well, to see how much." To see how much I'm loved and appreciated when people see me. Like Jay, Jay, that Asian nigga of mine, when he sees me around, he gets excited.
He's gonna get the kick out of that, by the way. You know he likes that. He can't.
I know.
He can't say it, but he know he likes.
He gets so happy. It feels like I feel like I'm finally a family because Paula calls me the N-word. I'm like, shut the fuck up. He wanted me, he presented at my stage at Podcast Movement. I was like, are you going to introduce me the way you do? I'm like, we're going to get kicked out of Podcast Movement. This ain't the place for this. Okay?
Right.
Imagine going on Podcast Movement and saying, so the nigga Jay is here and all the white people are looking at you and it's an Asian guy coming. Like, first of all, the thought of you just using the word openly, but I did it at Empowered because fuck Empowered. Anyways.
Yeah.
So just to know that, and also, even though I know that will kill my dad, because for me, it's always my dad, right? Knowing that it will kill my dad. But also the thought when I found out my cousin wanted to kill herself, the pain that I had, even though the attempt didn't work and we were still here. I called and I was like, I don't give a fuck what is going on with me. You need somebody, I'm here. Call no matter whatever you need. Like just the thought of that, I was like, damn. Is this how people are going to feel if I do actually end my life? Because at least I'm blessed. I know I can call Dominic and be like, Dominic, I'm struggling here. Help me. Or Sean, whatever. I'm like, the fact that I'm going to be taking that away from them and ending my own life and knowing that they have to deal with the thoughts like, man, did we miss a sign? Man, I wish Paula could have. Like those thoughts, those really fuck with your mental health. Like, no lie, because I went through them. So I was like, I never want to put this on somebody. And if I have to, I will ask, even though I hate asking. And like I'm a person who really hates asking, but who's constantly asking people how I can help them or I can support them. But when it comes to me personally, I don't. And Chris and Walter and Dominic are constantly reminding me that you have to give us the chance to pour on you as much as you pour on yourself. So I'm learning, 100%. But knowing that
100%.
help is there, all I gotta do is ask is what's like. So for everybody out there, I know life can be fucking exhausting, especially these times right now. God. So lean on your people. And if you don't have anyone, I'm always here. Lean on me, please.
And if for some reason, Paul is not there, she's busy helping somebody else, you can call me. Or if I'm busy and I'm helping somebody else, Call or text 988. It's lifeline.org. It's free, confidential, 365 days a year, 7 days a week. You can talk to a counselor or something like that. I feel like I have to get that in there. Call or text 988 if you're going through a tough time. Just wanted to make sure I say that. So
You're
we are
valued
rounding
and we want you here. We do want you here. You're
1000%.
valued.
1000%. We would miss you greatly. We would miss you greatly. So we are rounding third, heading home here. Before we start to wrap this up, Paula, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the Dripping in Black podcast. We always appreciate your time and energy when you pour into this community, from the elevation labs to now coming on the show to everything, coming to the retreat and everything else in between. Just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And so, with that being said, we want to immortalize your time here on the Dripping in Black podcast. We always want to make sure people feel valued and appreciative. And so, I think S Squared is going to cue something up for you as we kind of go through this last piece of the conversation. But what I wanted to ask you now is, you are building an empire, and you have touched so many lives. Governor of podcast, but governor of Podfest. Rap shit with P. Touching lives, networking, all the things. The Godfather of networking, right? When it's all said and done, and it's time for Paula to go on to the ancestral plane, if you will. Uh, what do you hope will be the legacy of Paula Sima? Like, what do you think? What do you hope people will say? Paula was this. Paula was that. What do you hope that legacy to be?
I want to be known, seen as the light. And that's why I try to bring so much positivity than negativity. I want to make sure everybody I've touched have felt the love, probably the best love you've ever felt. I don't care if you have a husband or a wife. I don't give a fuck. My love should be the greatest love you've ever felt. I'm just saying. No, and I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, again, Todd passing away, it really brought in a lot of conversations in my head. And I was like,
Yeah.
and reading those, it makes you question. And probably selfishly, maybe that's why I ask people what you thought about me when you met me versus now, because I want to hear, like, give me my flowers before I die. When I'm dead, I don't know if we even read those shit or can tell, because how would I know what you're telling if I'm already gone, right?
Right.
But I want to make sure that it is known that Paula brought light into every area she walked into. And that's all I want to be. I want to be a light.
I hear that. You have definitely been a light in my life. You have been a light in Kenda's life as well, as the number one fan of the B word. The now
Dropping
award winning,
today.
right? Now the award winning podcast
To the
known as the
motherfucking
B
end.
word. So there's that. But no, Paula, you are a dear friend. You are family. Zoe has accepted you, so now you're locked in for sure. When Zoe accepts somebody, that's
When
my
Zoe
daughter. They're just
says
like family.
yes,
When
it
Zoe
is what
says
it
yes,
is.
that's for life.
And it's funny, right? When you speak about Zoe, it's funny because I met because Chris always brings his kids to Podfest, right? The entire family comes there, and they have loved me because I'm tiny and I had blue braids. They were excited because there were two different colors of blue braids. Again, white kids, probably they were the first time seeing braids. I don't know, but the way they gravitated to me and Chris until today is like, yo, my kids still talk about you the way you hanged out with them. And then we had John Loomis who brought his
Right.
3-month, 4-month old, and I hold him for. He's like, yeah, I'll never forget Paula. I think even though my kid can't speak, but I'm pretty sure my kid learned how to say fucking shit while being with Paula. Adam Shively, I got to meet his daughter and hang out. The daughter didn't want to leave me alone, which I loved, but I was also so mad because I wanted to go see the sex taboo panel. But you can't take a 8-year-old to a sex taboo panel.
Nah.
But I got to hang out with her. She made me do cartwheels and stuff. And Adam was like, yo, I took this kid to Disneyland, but she will tell me that the highlight was hanging out with Paul. I'm like, because I can also play like a kid, and because I'm so tiny and small, so I can also pass as a kid sometimes. Like, I can be goofy with kids. And that's why I think also this comes back to traveling and having this. Like, I feel like because I can hang out with older people my age, younger people, and all the way kids. Like I can just wherever I am. I still have to be mindful of my language every now and then, but I can't help it. But I try my best. Okay, I'm trying here, but it just
Right.
I love when even funny enough, when Jay came to VidFest, he brought his girlfriend. So I when I met him, I was like, oh my God, you do exist. Because we
Yes,
keep
right. She
hearing
does
about this
exist, right?
girlfriend, but we never met. And then yesterday when we went to, the other day when we went to lunch with Walter and all them, and then I shared that story and everybody was like, but we have not met Hannah yet. I'm like, but we have seen pictures. At least we have seen him get engaged on Instagram. So we know she's there. So today I get to go have in the evening bubble tea with Walter and Hannah, and I get to meet Hannah. So, and this is when I say intentional networking, right? You end up really connecting with people where it runs more than now just friendship or business partners. It goes to meeting their family. Like Gordon tells me, like, yo, the way my wife knows about you and Amanda, because we're constantly with Gordon in conferences, right? So his wife is like, oh, you're with Paula, oh, you're with Amanda. Like, but the way it just goes and you become having this family, because again, intentional networking, and we might have not collaborated or made money together, but I mean, you have become my client, Walter have become my client, you all bring me opportunities, you all do that. So when you are not networking for right now, you have to grow those. When people once know you and
That's the
really
part.
like you and
That's the
energy,
part.
it opens doors to a lot of more collaboration, more money in the future, more. So don't think about right now what this benefits you right now. Think of the long game. I like playing the long game. Build those relationships. They become family, whatever. Like eventually, once we get this shit, we're gonna get a private pen and take all your motherfuckers to Tanzania. Let's go have fun on Rap Shit with P Money.
There it is. There it is. There it is. And speaking of networking and relationships, do want to make sure we give a shout out to fellow alum of Dripping in Black, Crate Digger, who Paula requested in these times. So just want to make sure I shout out Crate Digger and stuff like that. So hey, really quickly, I think S Square may have that gift ready for you. He wants to show you really quickly. Again, it's just a way to immortalize your time here on Dripping in Black. That's a fantastic picture. I love that picture. And you know what?
Yo!
We should laugh more. We should
We
laugh more.
should. Life
So
is too.
yeah.
Wait, Crate picked this picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Shout out to Crate. I knew you'd pick a right picture, even though you hate on me half of the time. But you're my nigga now. I'm still waiting on my package, but thank you for picking up a nice picture. This is beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. That is an excellent picture. Absolutely. So
But
again, we wanted to make sure. Go ahead.
this is why I love us and I love Dripping in Black.
Yeah.
Again, shout out to Sean, because when I met Sean, he gave me like the first time I met Sean, he gave me like, why are you shaking my hand kind of look, like, fuck you, I don't shake nobody's hand like that. Who are you? But then look at how all of this grew, and I am so blessed that I was able to come to Dripping in Black, because it was also very last minute to the retreat. And shout out to Mopad who sponsored me, and they're sponsoring me again this year. So Sean, get your shit together so I can get this sorted. But being in that retreat, right? As much as we talk shit with each other, right? Because y'all give me so much crap and shit, like especially Craig and Sean and Ty as well. I see you, Ty. Huh? But the love also, like the love is so real. Like the way you guys love and embrace me and just want to see me win is something I don't take for granted. Like I really love
100%.
and appreciate you all and everything that you do and shower me with. Like it doesn't go unnoticed. Yes, you too, Sean.
Well, we love us some Paula, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on Dripping in Black in this iteration, from the retreat to showing up in other places, the Elevation Lab, and now here on the show. So Paula, thank you so much for coming on. Please make sure, Dripping in Black family, that you check out Talk Shit with P on all of your major podcast platforms. And also don't forget the drip, DIBKDripshop.com. You see the merch, you see the gear. right? Make sure you stop by there. Thank you, S Square, for letting me guest host. And more importantly, thank you, Dripping in Black family, for allowing me to serve you on this side. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. And thank you for subscribing, because I know you hit that subscribe button over there on YouTube. But until next time, be kind, be excellent on purpose. It's a choice. And as always, keep it black.
Make sure you leave a review on my episode. Just saying.
Yeah, do that too. Do that too. And that part is it.
Yeah. Woohoo!
On the next Dripping in Black podcast, cancer doula and patient advocate Talaya Dendi.
So in terms of a cancer coach, a cancer doula, at least what I do, I provide emotional support. I'm also an advocate for the person who's going through cancer. I also provide guidance on communication, helping them to understand their treatment options, better communicating with their family, their employer. So just a host of things that people typically bump up against or have to overcome in order to get through cancer.
Thanks for vibing with us. Keep the conversation going. Like, subscribe, and follow at DIBK20 on social media. Visit drippinginblack.com for all things Dripping in Black and DIBKDripShop.com for your drip and other merch. Until next time, be well and much love.
You have just experienced a Dripping in Black production.